I'll wax eloquent. It's a problem. It's funny, but it's a problem. There is a major issue that's going on right now on the high seas, folks, so I want to talk about it. It turns out, according to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, that about a billion with a B, snow crabs are missing from the Bering Sea, a fact which has prompted them to cancel this year's entire snow crab harvesting season. This is a sad deal. There are a lot of theories floating around about it, but nobody seems to know why for sure, and that's the scariest part to me. Now, I've had Alex Jones on this show a couple of times, and if ever there were a time when I could use his help, it would be for this story. Because, yes, you could say that this is the result of something like overfishing or climate change, but why go there when you could go to the far more interesting, and one might even say more likely scenario? What if the government is secretly taking out our food sources? I mean, makes some sense based on what we're saying. We've had livestock die right and left from accidental human errors like fire and whatnot. We've lost tons of eggs, baby formula, all sorts of crops over the past couple of years. We've had food processing places that have burned down. We're not talking about that anymore. And if you think this does sound like a conspiracy theory rant on the order of an Alex Jones screed, consider this. The government we know about is destroying the economy before our eyes. What in the world would make you think they aren't destroying parts of it that you and I can't see? Say like underwater. Listen, the not so funny part of this is that it's going to cost a lot of people their jobs. Crab season is a big deal, and a lot of people work in the Bering Sea doing nothing but bringing those bad boys in so you and I can eat them. And also the price of snow crab is pretty much guaranteed to go through the roof over the next year or two. The word of the day is chaos, friends and neighbors. And if you put the people who supposedly serve at our pleasure in the government above doing something as heinous as genociding a billion snow crabs, you're not firing on all cylinders. Of course, I might not be either. Who knows? Well, there's speculation. Now, I think it's worth mentioning here that this past year's snow crab haul was down by 92%, lower than it's been in 40 years. So you tell me, how many events like this are going to happen in a really short period of time before we all decide, yep, they're effing with us? I mean, this doesn't just happen, folks. The last time a billion crabs disappeared all at once was because Kamala Harris took a powerful series of antibiotics. Ultimately, the situation is a travesty, mostly on the job and market price fronts, where the American people are going to feel it most keenly. And let's face it, not that many people who eat snow crab on a regular basis aren't going to be able to afford the higher prices as we weather this crabless storm. But the people who will lose their livelihoods, they're not so lucky. Hopefully there will be a resurgence in the population soon, but in the meantime, I think it might not be a bad idea to see if we can't root out those sneaky shadow organizations pulling this shit off. Because let's face it, if it is our government doing it, they're farming the job out to shady groups who can pull it off without getting caught. We know damn good and well Joe Biden and friends couldn't keep this quiet.
I went through several different phases as you were reading that. First, I got hungry.
Yeah.
And then you talked about Kamala Harris and antibiotics, and I was not hungry anymore. That was it.
Yeah, that definitely makes me lose my appetite. Montel could have done so much better. Willie Brown could have done so much better.
It is like, how weird is it anytime you think about that fact? And she's the vice president of the United States. And we were just looking at pictures of her with her throuple with Montel Williams.